Hello and welcome to Tuesdays with Annette. That's right, we're in the kitchen and it's home ec with Annette time. So today's recipe is super easy, but there's a little bit of technique involved that I want to teach you about on this class. But it's out of book one, which is my favourite. Oh, really, they're all my favourite. And here we go. It's this recipe here. We're making garlic prawns. I know, believe it or not, low fat, healthy, fabulous. 2.3 grams of fat per serve. I know, get excited. So that's what we're going to make today. But I'm also going to be giving that away at the end of the show, as you know, and I'll tell you how to do it. But there's also going to be an extra giveaway for today's show. Only just for today, only for my Tuesday peeps. So the winners from last week's show, and we had the simple brownies and we had lots of entries. Thank you. They all looked delish. And so it was hard to pick three winners. But the first one was Debbie Lowe. Jess Gordon was the second. And the third was Nancy Hill. And they all have got a personally signed copy of Book 7 coming their way. So let's start with what we need. I've got my fry pan here ready to cook. I've got my cooking spray. I've got my utensils, which is a can opener for the evaporated milk, a spoon to stir, measure spoons, tongs, a whisk, or you could use a fork if you wish. I've got some measure cups going. We've got 500 grams of raw or green peeled prawns. We've got garlic. We need 2 teaspoons of garlic, and I'm sure you've downloaded the recipe from the website by now, or you've got book 1. We're going to do also half a cup of sliced shallots. We've got 1/4 cup of white wine, dry white wine is the way to go, a can of evaporated milk and 3 tablespoons of corn flour. So before we get into it all, let's wash our hands and then we can start cooking. I know, this is a really, really old-fashioned recipe from way back, and I think garlic prawns, did it originate from France? I'm not sure, but I think Australians, we love garlic prawns, and it can be very high in fat. So today, you're going to learn the low-fat, guilt-free way. All right, so my hands are good. Have you washed your hands? You might have done it before we came on, so you're ready. Okay, all right, so we've got all our ingredients here. I've got everything to get started. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to do the shallots. Let's get them out of the way first. So get your shallots. I reckon I only need about 3 because they're quite good size, the shallots. And what we'll do is we're going to cut the end bit off. You know, we don't want that in, but don't go too far off. You don't want to lose too much of your fabulous white shallot. And we take all that and throw it away. So I've got my little rubbish bin here handy to go. I always think it helps when cooking. All right, so now we're going to slice up, not too thick, you want it fairly thin slices of shallots, eschalots, spring onions, whatever you want to call it. And we need half a cup. Now, this is one recipe where even though I do say 2 teaspoons of crushed garlic, you could actually, if you really wanted to zing it up a bit more, use fresh. It wouldn't hurt. I think I like the convenience, but this is one recipe where it really is about the garlic, isn't it? So you might want to choose to use fresh for this one. It's up to you. I'm just going to use my usual trusty crushed jar. That looks pretty good. So you measured, we want half a cup of shallots. That's it. Now once that's done, I just want you to put your shallots to the side. Throw out that last bit, we don't need it, and use a bit of that dark green in it because as you saw I did, and it's really about the flavours are still in that part and it's much more economical. You don't want to waste. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to prep our prawns. Now in the recipe, in the picture, you can see that I've done it a bit fancy for the photo and I've left the tails on. Now you can choose to do that, or you can have the tails off. You can buy them both ways. I buy my prawns frozen in a 500-gram bag in the supermarket, and you can buy either the tailed or the plain. So there's the tailed, and here's the normal one. And you don't want really big prawns. It's nice because then they're more bite size. So if you do get the tail and you think, well, I kind of find it annoying. You know, when you're eating away and it's a creamy, beautiful sauce and you've got this crusty tail thing biting at you. I mean, who wants that in your mouth? So what you do is just squeeze it. Let's zoom in on this Billy. So we're going to zoom in so I can show you. So you just squeeze the end up higher. Okay, let's do it again. So you just squeeze the end, take it off. Let's do it one more time. Squeeze it and pull that away. And that way there's not any meat left in there. All right, so now what we want to do in the recipe and in that photo, I've done it as a whole, like in the picture I did it as a whole cooked prawn. But what I want to show you is the way I really love to work with prawns, and that is by opening them up and fanning them, because I think that what happens is that it softens them. So can we just do that now? You've got your prawns in your bowl, and now we want to fan open each one of those. Now you can choose to leave them and just chat to me while I'm doing it, but what you do is very simple. You just go down the back of the prawn, and what I like about this is you can also then see if there's a vein, or some people call it a poo shoot. I don't know what you call it, but I say a vein. So we're going to go in with my trusty sharp Neofam knife, and it's all good. And that way you can clean it out. It's I did a couple of head as a practice run just to make sure I remember how to show you. Now this one's got a bit of the vein in there, so just scoop it out because you don't want that in with the recipe. All right, so now we're going to just keep going here. Have you got your knife? And you're going in, go right down. Don't go all the way to the end, you don't need to. That's clean. And what happens when you cook them, that's another clean one. So just do what I'm doing, you just go with your knife. See how I'm not going all the way through, and I bring that sharp point around. Oh, there's a bit. Let's scoop that out. And what happens is when you cook it, the prawns, they cook quicker as well because they're not as thick, but they also are less tough. They're much softer on the palate when you're eating them. So hello, if you've just joined me, I'm deep into my prawns here. We're making garlic prawns out of book 1, which traditionally would be a good 20 grams of fat a serve, because it's, as I said earlier on, it's based on cream. Here's another little bit, let's get that out. Cream and butter, but my way is 2.3. I know, it's fabulous, but it's so easy. As I said, the hardest part is just opening your prawns up. And of course, you don't have to do that. I always think it works better with prawns. And a variation to this as well is, you know, because it's just in a sauce, you can, if you look at the recipe on the variation, I say add, oh, there's some of the vein, get that out. You can add 3 cups of cooked broccoli. At the end, just stir it in, or 3 cups of mixed veggies is fine. But I tend to keep it like it is, and then I put veggies or salad on the side. So how are we going? Are we getting our prawns done? You're getting a little bit of a speed up. Oh, here we go. There's a bit of that vein out. Now, someone told me, and I think they're right, I hope they're right, because I'm going to tell you, that to know if they're prawns from Vietnam, for example, is that down the vein will be white. You'll have a white line of, or like a vein, but it's not dark, it's white. And that's because the Vietnamese prawns tend to be bleached. Yeah. That was told to me by someone in a seafood department, so I think they probably know what they're talking about. How you going? Still got a few here to get through. Now remember, this recipe is on the website, so if you haven't got book one, I'm sorry, why don't you? Well, maybe you might want to win it. Stay tuned. But yeah, it's on the website. As every Tuesday with our cooking class, you will be able to get the recipe ahead. Oh, that's got a bit of peel on it. That was good to get that out. I wouldn't want that in my mouth. Now, I also have a couple of tips for you as well. So in the recipe, remember I mentioned to you early on that it had wine in it. And the reason the wine's in it is because it gives it more depth. It gives it a beautiful sauce. Now, when you're cooking the sauce, the alcohol will be taken out by because you've cooked it, so the alcohol will steam out of it. So it's still all right to give to people or children, but if you really don't want to use alcohol, then a good alternate is this little thing here, and that is non-alcoholic wine. So it's actually had the wine taken out of it. Oh, not the wine, the alcohol. That'd be a really good drink, wouldn't it? No wine in it. It's got the alcohol being taken out of it. And so that's a good little alternative. You can get that in your supermarket. But if you really don't want to have the word wine involved in this recipe at all, then what I would suggest, because I'm all about giving you suggestions and tips, is to replace the 1/4 cup of wine with a 1/4 cup of water with, say, 1/2 teaspoon of stock powder, because you still want that liquid in there. It will not be as deep in flavour, but it'll still be nice. And the other alternative is, here we go. I've said it a couple of times now in the show, and I really want to help people if they have intolerances like with dairy and you can't use evaporated milk. This is what you can use, is the almond milk. That's the brand I just love. I find it's really rich for cooking. It's not as watery. And you would replace that 375ml can of evaporated light milk with 375 of almond milk, but you would add probably another tablespoon of corn flour. So instead of it being 3 tablespoons, I hope you're taking notes as we're doing this. You're taking notes and you're doing prawns at the same time. That, obviously you're a woman because you can do more than 3 things at once. But what you need to note is that you just need about a tablespoon more corn flour, because it's a little bit thinner than the evaporated milk. Oh, I'm nearly done. How are you going? Now, as I said, you don't have to do this, but you watch how it comes up when it's cooked. I love it when you see prawns and they're looking a bit dull and yucky, and then suddenly they become this bright orange fabulousness. And you know what, you could, it's not in the recipe, but between you and me, you could, if you're going, love this, but I don't love prawns, or you have a seafood allergy, let me think, I know, 500 grams of skinless chicken breast, diced. There you go, garlic chicken. All right, now is that everything? Yes. Let me wash my little prawn fingers. All right. Okay, let's get cooking. All right, so hopefully your prawns are done. Going to get some heat going here. I'm going to use my rice bran oil in the non-stick pans. It is recommended to use that. It is better, especially for Neoflam pans, which I'm using. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to cook the prawns first. So I want to get some heat up. So we're making garlic prawns out of book 1, remember, and this is the quick part. Like, it's just so easy to put it all together. Let's get this happening. Let's open our can. Where's my can opener? Let's open your can of evap while we're waiting for the pan to heat up. All right, so now like we do with everything else, we want to keep the sizzle. We do like a sizzle in the Simply Too Good kitchen. This is enough for 4 people. It would freeze for about 2 or 3 weeks, not longer because of the evaporated milk. But it wouldn't be hard to make a half of it if you really wanted to cut it down. Okay, washing my hands again. Alrighty, now watch the magic when they start getting all orange and fabulous. I love it. So while I'm waiting for that, now you know about the milk, I've told you that. Told you about the wine, that's the non-alcoholic. I'm going to pour 1/4 cup of dry white. Here we go. And we're going to, look, I've got a shallot sitting there. I'm going to pour this in, and I'll add the corn flour in a minute because I don't want it to settle at the bottom. So I'm just doing this while I'm killing time. So you've got your milk ready, shallots ready, your wine ready, and now let's toss our prawns. That's it. See how they're going, love it? And look, they're opening up beautifully. Yes. Oh my God, I love the smell of prawns cooking. So let's make it go off the chart with flavour. We're now going to add in the garlic, kind of an important ingredient, yes? So we want 2 teaspoons. Oh yes, it's all about the garlic. We don't want to hold back with this one. Let's chuck in the shallots. I'm going to just infuse that garlic into those prawns with the shallots. So basically, once your prawns are ready, it's just throw it all in. And this is why I love to get it all ready for you like this and show you my technique, because it just makes it so much quicker and easier. Now, I've already made my rice, okay, because this is definitely one I favour with rice. And I've got to tell you, if you really have a struggle with rice, always use the basmati rice because it's really easy to cook with. But also, I love my rice cooker. I mean, there's no boiling over starchy water on the stove, anything like that. And it cooks it really well. So, you know, you can get them in Kmart for a couple of bucks as well. What are we doing now? You've done your garlic, you've done your shallots. Now we're putting in the wine. And you can see that this, as that steams up and boils, out comes the alcohol. Whew! And we've just got one more thing to do. I'm going to put some pepper in. Last we've got to do, that's right, we've got to put the corn flour in. So we want 3 tablespoons. Remember, if you're using the other milk, you're going to put an extra one in. But look, this is so important. We need to take a moment here, people. 3 tablespoons of my spoons, okay? Now that's a 15 ml. If you're using 20, and I had this problem in the early days when I first launched Book 1, people would say to me, I've made the garlic prawns, but they were really thick and gluggy. And I knew straight away, hello, you've used the wrong spoon measure, doll. If you're putting in Australian 20 mils, you've now put in an extra tablespoon. So yes, it would be too much. So you ready? Have you got your vapor milk ready? In we go. Oh la la, garlic prawns. Oh. I mean, I'm sorry, it's a little bit decadent and fabulous, but so delicious. Now, all we've got to do is bring this to the boil. And while we're waiting for that, I'm sorry, but I'm super excited. More than ever before than I am. No, I'm always excited. But you know what? My 6-week winter weight loss challenge starts in 12 days. How cool is this? So if you've been struggling with your weight, especially over this corona whole business, now is the perfect time to kick your weight loss efforts up into next gear and get on the right track. Now, what you get, there's so much, but you'll get daily menu plans that I create for you on your level, for you individually, because we're not all the same. you're going to get my support. I'm going to mentor and coach you along, plus a fabulous community we have of like-minded people who are walking that same journey as you in our Facebook group, and they really are just divine. Now, yes, there's more, as they say. Check it out at simplytoogood.com.au/mentor. Membership, not mentor, membership. simplytoogood.com.au/membership. And gosh, you know what? I really look forward to helping you to be the healthy, fabulous you. So join me, and soon we are going to be starting. So, what's the matter? The shallots? Oh, look, Diane's saying, put the shallots in the pan. Oh, our little shallots were missing out. Excuse me, but just take a moment to go, wow, look at this. Beautiful, beautiful garlic prawns. Now, you could be fancy and get them out individually and put them around, especially if they've got tails. You know what I'm saying here? This is how you could be serving it up, and you know, your whole family is going to just go, excuse me, but who is this gourmet person that we're seeing right now? So a ring of prawns. Does this get any better? Oh yeah. And remember, it's for 4 people, book 1. And then of course, let's do more sauce, because isn't it all about the sauce and also the very big mess that I'm making on this plate. There you go. Oh, I'm making it worse. But look, there you go. There is our garlic prawns. Now, who knew weight loss could be so deliciously healthy? I'm sorry, 2.3 grams of fat a serve, and it probably will be the nicest garlic prawns you've had. I mean, I can remember in the olden days when they used to be in those big garlic pots, you know, the big cast iron. I mean, that's how old I go back. And it was all based on just oil and garlic. Or chefs will do it with cream and butter. No, let's do it Annette's way at 2.3. Now, if you'd like to win book 1 so you can make this recipe and all the other fabulous recipes in book 1, I'm sorry, please don't start me, it's an amazing book. You just have to like, share, and then in the comments, it's photo time. That's right, you have to take a picture. Clean your plate up though, because I mean, I've made a mess on mine. Take a photo, put it in the comments, and I will then pick 3 winners. And for this week, it's a really good deal, because you're going to get book 1. But you know what, to help you, I'm going to give you a set of spoons. That's right, teaspoon, tablespoon, and normally they're sold as a set like that on the website. You're going to get a set as well. So if you're the winner, you get a cookbook and a set of spoons this week. So you are welcome. So now Thursday, you've got to come back Thursday, because I'm making an amazing recipe. It's from book 3 and it's hummingbird cake. Oh, yes, I love it. And it's so easy to make. And then next Tuesday, where we'll be back in the kitchen again, I'm going back to something that my kids just loved, and I'm sure your kids or grandkids will too. We're making a recipe out of book 5 next Tuesday, and it's pikelets. Oh yes, I've got a fabulous fail-proof recipe. So just remember, if you want to check out the program, starts, remember, in a few days, get in there, simplytoogood.com.au, and I'll see you this Thursday. I'll see you Thursday. Take care and enjoy your prawns. Bye now.